What do the Vancouver Canucks really need this summer? That is the question that we are asking in this video. Of course, with the 2026 NHL entry draft and July 1st free agent frenzy just days apart from each other, GM Ryan Johnson has a very specific shopping list. While the rebuild is a priority, a few key veteran additions could be the difference maker for this young roster. Let's dive right into this. We're going to check out an article from our friends over at Canucks Army. This one, as you can see from the title of that very same question that we just asked, what do the Canucks really need out of free agency this year? This one written by Stéphane Roger, and he says the annual free agent frenzy is nearly upon us. As a rebuilding franchise, the Vancouver Canucks are primarily focused on building through the draft, and so the majority of the focus from fans and media has been on the 2026 NHL entry draft scheduled to begin on June 26, 2026, just under 10 days away. But less than a week after that comes July 1st, the day on which free agency opens up, and it's going to be a quick turnaround between the two events. Despite their future-flung aspirations, the Canucks will be involved at least to a certain extent in free agency. We know this because every team signs at least a few individuals every year, and also because new GM Ryan Johnson has already talked about the types of characters he'd like to target, something we've also talked about in videos on this channel as well. We also know this because the Canucks do have a few small roster needs that will probably have to be addressed via a key UFA signing or potentially two. First and most prominent, of those needs is a veteran extra defender. As it currently stands, the Canucks have 5 regular defenders signed for 25-26, with those being Filip Hronek, Marcus Pettersson, Elias Pettersson, Zeev Buium, and Tom Willander. 3 of those 5 are 22 or younger. On top of that already youthful mix, the Canucks are probably looking to expand the roles of 24-year-old Victor Mancini and 22-year-old Kirill Kudryavtsev. Both stand a better than even chance of cracking the roster out of training camp. The end result is a very, very young blue line. Now, that's not necessarily an issue for a rebuilding team. It's kind of the point. But it does probably mean that when Johnson and company go looking to add an 8th defenseman to the group, he'll be leaning toward age and experience. The Canucks do have Pierre-Olivier Joseph as a pending RFA, would be able to retain his rights with a simple qualifying offer, but Joseph is just 26 years old himself, and his play didn't exactly stand out last year. The team might instead want someone with more miles on the odometer and more lessons to teach the other younger defenders, someone like the outgoing Derek Forbort, who made a positive impact before injuries effectively ended his career. Whoever that veteran defender is, they'll have to be ready and willing to spend plenty of time in the press box. That aforementioned starting 5 of Hronek, Pettersson, Buium, and Willander should be playing each and every night when they're healthy. And both Mancini and Kudryavtsev are at the points where they badly need some NHL reps to continue their development. This extra D might not play much at all and will be doing most of their mentoring at practice as well as in the dressing room. A name that makes plenty of sense here is Troy Stecher, who recently expressed some interest in rejoining his hometown team, but really it could be any number of well-tenured individuals. And while this UFA class is overall a little thin, there should be plenty of players matching that profile for the Canucks to pursue this summer. There are a full 48 defenders with NHL experience over the age of 28 hitting the market as of July 1st. Their other prominent need is less position-based and more niche-based, and we're talking about toughness here. The Canucks would like to become a more difficult-to-play-against team across the board, but most are expecting them to underline that trait with at least one bona fide enforcer type. The impact that Curtis Douglas made after being picked off of waivers last year was noticeable. He's a pending UFA himself, and many in the fan base wish to see him retain, but the Canucks haven't talked to his camp as of yet. And there's been some word that this is because they're seeking out a more everyday player. This, as we've covered before, this shouldn't be an issue in this particular UFA class. If there's one thing available in abundance this summer, it's tough guys of every variety. However, if they're really focused on finding someone with more playing ability than Douglas, they'll have to zero in on a few candidates, names like AJ Greer, Brandon Duhaime, Ross Johnson, and especially Jeffrey Viel makes sense here. But then who wouldn't want a tough guy on the roster who can play every night? Just because these players are available, it doesn't mean they'll be willing to sign with the Canucks. If there's one area of free agency where the Canucks might need to compromise on their ideal offer and sign something relatively exorbitant, it might be here. Getting their hands on the exact right quote-unquote protector for the rebuild is probably worth a few extra dollars at this point in time. Fortunately, the Canucks can put almost of their free agency-related energy into these limited areas. Beyond a veteran extra defender and some dedicated toughness, it's tough to say the Canucks need anything more out of free agency. They've already got 12 NHL level forwards signed for next season, add a tough guy to the group, and it's pretty much finished. Any departures, like, say, a Jake DeBrusk, might reasonably be replaced, like, say, by a Brendan Gallagher, but efforts will also be made to leave space open for younger players like Jonathan Lekkerimäki and Braeden Cootes to claim spots in camp. The Canucks will probably avoid too much free agent activity just to avoid gumming up the roster too much. Goaltending is an interesting question. The Canucks have all three of Demko, Lankinen, and Tollefilo all in place for next season. They might roll with all three in 26-27. They might even trade one of them. They might try to sneak Tollefilo back down to Abbotsford, which probably will not be very easy to do. If the Canucks do plan to lose one of the three via trade or waivers, they might want to add a veteran third or fourth goaltender for additional coverage. Say they lose Tollefilo to waivers or trade, they'd be down to just Demko and Lankinen, and then some undercooked names like Tai Young or Aku Koskinen in the system. Given the state of Demko's health, that's asking for trouble. Another Yuri Patera type might be worth shopping for if Patera himself isn't retained. The Abbotsford roster itself probably also needs some refurbishing after a near last place finish, and that will probably include a minor league UFA addition or two. But really, the Canucks are going to have the luxury of going into the free agent frenzy with a very short shopping list that should be subsequently allow them to put all of their focus and all of their chips, both metaphorically and actual, onto a small set of targets. Canucks' need might be minor and relatively territory to the roster, but getting the exact right players to fulfill them is still an important and underrated component of the rebuild all the same. So there you go. That is the article from Stéphane Roger. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. What do you guys think about the idea of going out and say they lose a, Tollefilo to waivers or via trade? What do you guys think about them going out and getting another goaltender, someone with a bit more experience, whatnot? Let me know your thoughts on that in particular. What do you guys think about, say maybe bringing in a Troy Stecher, bringing him back to the Canucks? Or maybe a guy like AJ Greer, Brandon Duhaime, a Ross Johnson, or even a Jeffrey Viel. Let me know your guys' thoughts about this in the comment section down below. Who would you want the Canucks to go out and, shop for in this year's free agency? As we mentioned, it's not a very good class. But I want to know from you guys, who would you want the Canucks to go out and get in this year's free agency? Do you like a AJ Greer or Duhaime or Johnson? Or a Viel, or even a Troy Stecher? Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. And of course, as always, if you guys enjoyed this video, on your way out, you can like the video and subscribe to the Line Change for more Canucks and draft related content. You can also become a member of the Line Change by hitting that join button. You'll get exclusive perks, members only videos, some behind the scenes stuff, and early access to videos such as like the one you're watching right now. And before I sign up, an important message from our friends over at DraftKings. It all comes down to this: a best-of-7 battle, and DraftKings has you covered every step of the way. The DraftKings Sports app is now available in all 50 states and includes all markets. Sweat every shift of the series all in one place with one app. New DraftKings customers sign up with code THPN, spend $5 to get $200 in rewards within 21 days. That's code THPN in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Bet with DK Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-MY-RESET. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, that text pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 and over. Void in Ontario. Event contract trading with DraftKings predictions involves risk of loss. Sportsbook bonus bets expire in 7 days. $50 in predictions dollars issued weekly for 3 weeks expire in 1 year. Redeem one non-withdrawable reward. Availability varies. Predictions offer void in New York. Ends June 28. Terms at dkng.co/audio.
Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.